Welcome back to Spitballin Cards. In today's video, you have just me and Phil for at least the first part. Chris and Ty both may show up, but we need Phil for this one. Phil is the expert. He is the one who knows the most about Bowman product, and that's what we're going to be discussing is 2025 Bowman. Phil, how you doing, man?
I'm doing exceptional. How are you doing, Scott?
I'm doing good. I heard you spent some of your work day looking at some nice Bowman checklists.
I did. Got back from vacation last week. Had a nice, refreshing vacation with the family. That's why I wasn't on last week in last week's episodes. And yeah, a lot of Bowman research today. Dove right in.
And what's your biggest takeaway so far of 2025 Bowman? Is it a product to buy? Answer that question and we can explain throughout the rest of the video.
If you want to lose money, from a sealed perspective, there could be some arbitrage opportunities here. I mean, I was on vacation, and then I think I caught wind of Jeff's text saying that Bowman had dropped. It might have been Jeff. It might have been some Instagram post too. And I jumped on Tops, and against my better judgment, I bought 2 cases for $4,000 each.
Of what? Is this jumbo or hobby?
I got the jumbo. So they're still calling the jumbo a jumbo for 3 autograph version. The other options were hobby and then the blasters, which are still there today. So we're recording this on April 14th. They dropped last week on Topps website. Hobby boxes were $240. Jumbo boxes were $500. That's very similar to last year's Bowman Baseball release pricing. Jumbo is exactly the same. I think hobby actually went down a little bit. So jumbos tend to be really popular with breakers. They tend to sell out fastest for Bowman products on pre-sale, especially the cases. And that was the case again. I think they sold out after 3 to 5 hours. And again, blasters are still there. So I think, this is a very similar price point, the $500 per jumbo, the 3 autograph configuration, to what we saw with Bowman Draft, which came out about 5 months ago in December.
Yeah.
But $500 was too much for people. $500 this time seems to be the right price. And it's not just because of fatigue that set in December, in my opinion, and maybe more content to come on that. I'm working on some more research there. But I think it has to do a lot with the checklist. The checklist is actually pretty strong this time around.
And I'm excited for this checklist as a Rockies fan because Charlie Condon is one of the 2 biggest chases, wouldn't you say, with Jesus Made or Jesus Made. Those are like the 2 guys people are going to be going for. Anyways, I'm excited as a Rockies fan. I probably won't buy any of his cards, though, because it'll be just too hyped. It's just how it works.
Yeah, and he's injured right now. He might come back sometime in June, Condon. But yeah, this Jesus Made or Jesus Made guy, I think we're going to be hearing the pronunciation interchangeably because of, for obvious reason. But he seems quite talented. Last year's Bowman baseball product was carried at the time by Walker Jenkins.
Yeah.
And this Made guy, at least right now, has a lot of hype, and he's still only 17 years old. I think he turns 18 in like May or June. So yeah, the prospect checklist right now seems to be pretty strong. And we've got our first, I believe, Topps licensed rookie card coming of Roki Sasaki potentially in this product.
Which is cool. I'm excited about those, honestly. I know that there was the other pitcher that's really good. Is it Spencer Schwellenbach? Is this his first rookie or has he been in product?
He was in Series 1. That's Chris's guy.
Yeah, there we go. So this is Bowman Chrome, which is exciting for Bowman Chrome autographs. Great product because you do get the rookie autographs. So if the rookie checklist is solid, that's always very beneficial on top of the prospect autographs. There's years where it's just the rookies that are worth anything, but they're really tough to pull. Has the rookie autograph checklist expanded past the traditional colors? Typically, it's stayed pretty tight. Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah. Rookie autograph checklist. We're looking at 9 parallels for those, the rookie autographs. Perfect. For prospect autographs, 36 parallels were last year. There were 24.
Wow. So 30% jump, basically. 33% jump.
50% jump. Quick math, maybe something like that.
What if I told you I was a finance major?
Yeah, you were looking at the math the other way around. But yeah, Roki Sasaki is interesting, man, because I know we talked about him, how he could be like the next like big pitcher, and his hobby could be huge. Obviously, it's been huge. If you look at his Japanese cards, the Topps Chrome NPB stuff has been on fire, probably up till recently. So I think the knock on Sasaki might be the fastball command and spin rate. And I think he's probably got like 3 or 4 starts already, at least 3. Started once in Japan.
He has 4. He has a mid 3.6 ERA right now, 3.7. But if you look at his whip, it's a 1.7. Realistically, he should have a lot higher ERA. He's like been a magician getting out of a lot of jams. Like even just barely, there was the grand slam that would have been if it wasn't for center fielder who can't hit for the Dodgers right now. He robbed the grand slam. Andy Pajes. He saved him like 4 earned runs. So he hasn't looked good, but the stuff overall has been good. It's just until he locates his fastball, no one's going to bite on the splitter. And that's kind of the biggest issue so far with Roki. But the fact that he looks as good as he does to me and how fast his fastball is, if he can just stay healthy, which is the big thing, I like him a lot from that perspective.
Yeah, he's battled injuries in recent years. But yeah, to your point, I think the fastball average velocity is around 97 plus. It's just stop walking guys. Right now he's walking like 1 guy per inning, and then, strike out more guys and command the fastball better inside the zone will be the next thing he needs to focus on probably, but he could get there. So yeah, some other facts about this product, 2025 Bowman. Right now, which is again April 14th when we're recording this, Blowout Cards has prices way up as you'd expect from anything that sells out fairly quickly on Tops. Hobby Box is at $325, and then Jumbo Box is at $625. Some takeaways here. So there's a few important takeaways here. I mentioned Roki Sasaki already. Similar theme to Yamamoto last year, first rookie auto too. They cut the number of cards in the products packs with Hobby. So in Jumbo packs, you're now looking at 28 cards from 32. In Hobby packs, it went down from 10. As long as Bowman's been around, it's been 10 cards in a Hobby box in packs. Now it's 8. So a 20% reduction on regular Hobby.
Helps print run stay close to the same because I'm sure it's up. But at the same time, that sucks for the average person to open the product when price goes up and the number of cards you get goes down. That sucks.
On that point, Scott, so if you look at the production run, I ran some math. Usually Scott does this and he's way more accurate, but the number of base cards produced is negligible. The difference versus last year, maybe -5, maybe plus 5% jump. So either down 5, plus 5, or somewhere in between is kind of what I calculated. That's for the Hobby stuff only. For retail, I don't know.
It's hard to tell retail. Yeah.
Yeah. The number of boxes produced, though, guess what? When you have fewer cards in a box, fewer cards in packs, you can hold the same base card print run and sell more boxes. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at, for Hobby stuff, around a 16 to 17% increase in production for like the Hobby, the Jumbos, like somewhere around there versus last year. It's quite a bit.
Is there end game to get close to like what Topps Chrome Jumbos and Hobby are doing? They just slowly chisel it away over the years and then they can make it the same format, do you think? Or are they going to stay true to Bowman and be higher number of cards per pack?
That's a good question. That's a good question, Scott. So with a traditional Bowman Hobby pack, you would get, I think, in the past, it would be 8 paper cards and 2 Chrome cards. So the more you cut that down, then you've got to think about cutting the number of Chrome cards. Then you're really hurting the contents of what's inside.
I will say, Ty is about to join us right now, which is great. What's up, Ty?
Hey guys.
How you been, man? How's life?
Good. I'm good. I was listening a little bit while you guys were talking.
All right, Ty. So we've heard mine and Phil's high-level thoughts so far. What's yours from what you've seen on Bowman Baseball, especially as someone who works in a card shop?
No pressure. I feel like, I kind of came in at the tail end of what you were discussing, which is on that topic of how Topps approaches increasing demand while trying to make it so you don't get absolutely murdered when you open product, and all the different potential variables to satiate demand and not have a product just completely disappear from the shelves, and then hit the secondary market at a crazy price. Like they're taking all those things into consideration. So shortening the number of cards, I think, is what you were discussing in the packs.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the levers that they can pull. So in general, I think it makes sense, I guess, but I don't envy being Topps. I know it's easy to step in and criticize them and say, oh, they're over printing or whatever. But like the flip is that we do have these situations where people just flat out can't find the product. And when you're talking about something like Bowman, you can't afford not to have products. So we're just going to continue to see costs rise. I think it's going to get tougher and tougher to get really good hits out of the product. But they have to make those business decisions internally to try to satiate demand, and demand is rising. Now, the whole reason for increasing demand and the focus on breaking, that's a completely separate subject, which we've touched on many times. But the bottom line is they've got to make those choices, and so what they're doing doesn't surprise me too much.
Ty, and you're not wrong. So Phil and I were talking before we started this episode about how like my personal YouTube channel is relatively cyclical, how when the regular season starts, viewership usually declines because people have baseball to satiate their baseball desire, right?
Yeah.
And I'm looking at other content creators who do breaking. Their content is flat, if not up, this time of year. And so it's one of those things where, and there's a lot more participants for breaking in general. So that part of the hobby is really growing, and Topps is doing a good job of growing. But at the same time, we discussed, Phil and I, like, who's the end buyer of all of these cards?
Yeah.
Are the individuals the ones that really want to keep these? Like, I pulled up some parallels, the steel metal refractor out of 100. Like, who's gonna want these cards? Because none of the older collectors are going after this. They're not going after the reptilians. They're not going after the peanuts. They're not going after the gumballs or the seeds. And they're kind of cool. And maybe you have a different opinion. That's fine. But like, I don't think that our side of the hobby is as much benefited as the newer side. And I don't envy Topps' position either, because either they nuke print runs or they do what they're doing and just downsizing the product a little bit and taking a little bit of the Bowman paper value away. Maybe that's not a big deal. So it is tough.
They just need courtyard.io to be the end consumer of all this garbage. Kidding, kind of, not really. All right, so some more takeaways, Scott. You want to hear this one?
Yeah, I do.
Breaker's Delight is replacing HTA.
Whoa.
So this is new, completely new for Bowman. We've had Breaker's Delight for the Topps Chrome update, Topps Chrome. The format for this is going to be 10 cards. So it's not just autos. That's the difference. HTA was only 3 autographs. Breaker's Delight, the breakdown is going to be 3 autographs, 2 Chrome prospects, 1 base card, rookie red, rookie card variation, whatever that means, 3 numbered geometric parallels. So
wait, that's a red you said? That's a red? Rookie red?
I got red, yeah.
Oh, that's a great way to ruin the red parallel. Keep going. Sorry. Keep going.
As I said, the 3 numbered geometric parallels, which is another
geometric,
subject.
Phil.
Yeah.
What are the shapes?
These are HTA exclusive. I don't know what these look like. It's kind of like adding a new series of reptilian colors to the parallel list for autographs and non-autos. I think that was the case. The difference here is that this is HTA exclusive. And then the 10th card is an insert card, which there are some new inserts, which we haven't seen yet, which I think is one of the positives. We're not trying to slam Bowman here. I'm trying to be as neutral as possible.
It's good to know the negatives and the positive. Like, it really is.
Right. And then one of the other takeaways is just the checklist for prospects is pretty decent, which I think is helping support the prices. Although a lot of people have been waiting for a major Bowman product in some time. A lot of people have been waiting for a major product release in some time, ever since Series 1, which was like first week of February. So it's great timing for a product like this. And it sold very well, as we already mentioned. So the checklist, 105 Chrome prospect autograph subjects, which might not seem like too much.
Can I cut you off for 1 second before you dive into that? I do want to say that this product appeals to a lot of different collectors and people in the hobby than Series 1 does. So that's why we're even seeing so much hype around it right now. And I'm sure this video is going to get a lot of attention just because of the fact that this is a more exciting product than Series 1. Series 1's only like really excited because it's only exciting because it's the only product really out, in my opinion. So in some ways, I like Series 1. I like Flagship. Flagship's great, but it's a bigger product, which I think people are excited about. Also, I do have some of the rookies that do have their first rookie card in this set. Kumar Rocker, Roki Sasaki, Jacob Wilson, Jackson Jobe has a rookie card, and so does Hae-Sung Kim for the Dodgers. He's in the minor leagues right now, but should be called up anytime soon with how bad the bottom of their order is. So I wanted to note those. We hit it a little bit. Okay, Phil, autograph.
Yeah. As you said, this product has more access than Bowman Draft because it's not hobby exclusive. Bowman Draft used to have the light boxes. They got rid of those. This has the cheap blasters. This also has not just prospects, which is what Bowman Draft has, but this has rookies and veterans. There's a 100-card base checklist, and there's a separate 150-card prospect checklist. So it's a nice mix of everything. You're getting some of the holdovers from last year's draft. You're getting some international guys, one of which we'll talk about if we have time. And you're getting nice rookies like Roki Sasaki, et cetera, and vets. As I said, 105 Chrome prospect autograph subjects, which might not seem like a lot if you're comparing it to like what Bowman Draft usually gets, but the last 5 years for Bowman Baseball, 2024, 87 Chrome prospect auto subjects, 102 in 2023, then 89 in 2022, 72 in 2021, 62 in 2020. So this is probably the highest ever.
Can I say a hot take?
Sure.
I kind of am at the point right now where I appreciate Bowman Chrome rookie cards more than Topps Chrome rookie cards. Is that a hot take? Maybe that's a very hot take. But the reason for it is they do have Sapphire. Yes, they do have Sapphire, but they don't have all the other variations that come along with it. And generally they have a smaller rainbow, so there's not as much dilution in those cards. And I like that. I do like that. Usually the imagery is just as good, if not better, for a lot of key players like an Ohtani, like a Judge. You could even argue someone like a Julio. So I'm a hot take, but they're growing on me. Not saying that's what I would invest in per se at all, especially that's outside of maybe Judge and Ohtani. But I do think that these rookies are still good cards to go for in some ways.
I love this year's design. So for me, it's just design dependent. Like if I was just for my collection, whether I would go with a Bowman rookie or a Topps Chrome rookie, it just completely depends on the design for the year, and the image is a big deal. We talked about Judge and his rookie autos, and this, his Bowman rookie auto image is a million times better than the Topps Chrome of him just like weird angle falling in the outfield.
It's actually starting to become separated from the Topps Chrome autograph. I mean, let me show that really quick. Phil, do you have any desire to go after Bowman Chrome rookies? I don't know if you would. But
while you're pulling that up, I mean, it's nice how the autograph checklist is limited. This year it's limited to only 11 names, as we talked about. Right. From an autograph parallel perspective, you're dealing with only 8 colors versus 36 with prospects from a Chrome auto perspective. So we've got that going for it. But then you could repeat the same players in Bowman Chrome. Technically, I don't know. I think the hobby is just so far away from choosing Bowman Chrome as like a premium top choice rookie. Of course, Ohtani is a very isolated case. That's an outlier where he doesn't have a true first Bowman Chrome auto.
It kind of plays both. It's rookie and first. So.
Right. And the superior pose. So it's got a lot of ingredients working for it. And dueling images from the Topps Chrome side of things and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. Not a huge fan of the Bowman Chrome rookie, just because, I don't know. At the end of the day, I want to resell it to somebody.
That's the problem, like you just said, the resell. But so here's the Judge Bowman Chrome. That's a better batting image versus this one, where he's like jumping and there's the dude's crotch over here in the corner. So I don't know. I prefer that image myself. I think it's a better looking card. And also the refractors this year, they're very hit or miss if you like them. They're kind of weird. In 2017. They never really did that again in either set. All right. Sorry about the tangent. Whoa, look who just showed up. Jeff.
Howdy, boys. I heard you were short a member.
They were short too, and then I came late to the party.
All right.
So better late than never.
If we keep recording, we're just going to have a new person every 5 minutes. It's going to be very fun for our viewers.
There's only one left unless buttons.
Blocks will get smaller and smaller.
Yeah. All right, Phil, keep going. Sorry for cutting you off with that tangent. Actually, before I cut you off, I was just saying how in some ways I prefer, you would appreciate this comment, Jeff. Glad you're here. We can agree together that in some ways I like the Bowman Chrome rookie for some players more than the Topps rookie for some players. So it's exciting that we have good Bowman Chrome rookies coming out right now because the imagery is better, the card design can be better at times, and there's less parallels. And I don't know. That was my thought process. What do you think?
Agreed. Yeah. And I think a lot of that is due to the Ohtani and the Judge you were just showing. It's a massive difference in card image wise of those two. So
we were talking about baseball card images and it just summoned one of the Blabbin guys. Makes sense. Yeah. That's how we get you guys to show up. It's like saying Beetlejuice 3 times. All right, Phil, keep going.
SSP.
Yeah, we'll just cover one player. We talked about Condon already. We talked about Jesus Mate a little bit, but I think he needs a little bit more intentions. So there's other guys too we could talk about if we have time. But Jesus Mate is now Baseball America rank number 17. By the way, guys, don't try to use AI for Baseball America rankings. You get a lot of bad information.
Hey, speaking of AI, last week it got me good because it told me that some people are in the Hall of Fame that weren't. It told you know what I mean. Don't ever trust Google AI. It's a joke.
Yeah, for numbers, it can be tough. And half the time it's just sourcing like Reddit and blowout forums.
Yeah.
At that point, just like go to Twitter or X, whatever it is. Yeah. Okay, so last year he has, and by the way, he's turning 18 next month. He was born May 8th, 2007, basically when I graduated college.
2007.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All-time great Dominican Summer League season last year with a 491 WOBA in 216 plate appearances. Scott, do you want to pull up his Fangraphs?
Oh, I was already to you. Yep.
Oh, cool. He also stole 28 bases, and he only played 5 games in A-ball. But if you look at his numbers, like the walk rate really stands out, and he was able to keep his ISO, isolated power, which is slugging percentage minus average. He kept that above 220 at both levels for a guy that has speed and a solid eye at the plate. So I know a lot of these international guys tend to flame out. They don't have a lot of like stateside experience, and they flame out. They flame out quick. Robert Puson, Jeffs, Hedbert Perez, Christian Vaquero, Carlos Colmenares.
Who was the guy for the Dodgers?
Luis Rodriguez.
He was a big one.
Beautiful autograph. He's out of the sport. At least the other guys I mentioned, I think most of them are still playing, but they're horrible right now. Look at their stats. It's really bad. So I think Mate, I don't think he's going to flame out like those guys, and he'll be an important one to watch. I think to answer your question earlier from today, if you're to buy this product and hold it, I think it's going to be largely contingent on him. Although there are other guys like Condon. Condon was the guy that everybody wanted, included Bowman draft. Caglione showed, poor numbers, had some flaws exposed last year at the time when Bowman draft was released. Condon was the guy a lot of people were excited about because of what he did at University of Georgia. But he's been banged up. Played through injury last year. Broke his wrist in spring training this year. It should be back in 6 weeks or so, something like that. Or maybe in May, June, I forget. JJ Weatherholt is a guy. Kevin McConaughey, Franklin Arias, 19-year-old Red Sox guy who's in the Baseball America top 100, as are the other guys, I believe. JJ Weatherholt and Kevin McConaughey are both like top 30 Baseball America prospects. There's some other interesting guys like Slade Caldwell. But before we get into that, I want to go through some of the changes between this year and last year. I had a chance to go through the Topps odd sheet, which is out, which is the reason why we made this video, is we have enough information. We talked about the production run increase based on my approximations earlier. So this year we've got something new. It's called the Bowman Retro Logo Foil Pattern.
I think there's a card. There is. Here, let me show you guys real quick, because I'm sure this is what it is. It's just a version of this, which is this Topps parallel.
Oh yeah, so that came in special boxes.
Got it. So I'm sure it's going to be some like the Bowman logo from vintage Bowman sets that will just look like this, probably. I would think. That's my guess.
Got it. That makes sense. So then we've got some stuff that was introduced in Bowman draft last year, like the gumball, refractor, sunflower seeds, peanuts, and popcorn. Those are going to be hobby box exclusive. Probably.
Can you explain how you get those? Isn't it a special pack?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's the pack like, Ty? Do you know off the top of your head?
It's just an extra pack.
And it's like it's super rare. It's like one in like a dozen.
I think it's one in 5 cases or 1 in 10 cases, something like that. Yeah.
947 packs.
They call it a snack pack.
You get one of each card.
I don't know if that's true, but
I'm making that up.
They call it a snack pack, and so it's supposed to be desirable. Not the chase I would want if I'm hitting some ultra rare pack, but
the pro packs were better.
Yeah, they have the same odds, 1 in 1,947 packs. So
one in how many did you say?
1,947 packs.
That's tough.
So it might equate to what you were saying with cases.
Yeah.
The Chrome Prospect Refractor. The one that's numbered to 499, a very sought after card, especially if it's a first. To get those in hobby boxes, 1 in 207 hobby packs to get one of those. Last year it was 1 in 175. In jumbos, it's 1 in 59. So basically, you get 3 of those in every 2 cases. If that makes sense.
That was the refractor auto or the refractor?
Non-auto refractor.
Wow.
How many refractors are there now, Phil? You might have said this already, and I apologize.
Yeah.
Everybody's wondering that same thing because they
increased
to 50%. You just said that.
Chris would ask me the question, so I had it prepared. So the number of Chrome Prospect non-auto parallels is 46, and that doesn't include the Breakers Delight exclusive geometric parallels. There's 8 of those. So last year there were 30. So this year there's technically 54 Prospect non-auto parallels. Yeah. And if you want to know about Chrome auto parallels, 36 for prospects this year and 9 for rookies. Last year there were 24, and they weren't really differentiated amongst prospects and rookies that well.
Wow.
So are true colors still to play? Like, is a 4 out of 499 regular refractor better than a what is this card I have in front of me?
Better than a purple pattern to 199?
The reptilian at a 150 blue?
The neon
still to play in your eyes? Do you guys have any thoughts on that? Are we going to see that change as the new collecting group, like we talked about? They aren't accustomed to what we view as true colors, or do you think that'll catch on still?
I'm going to look at something while you guys discuss that.
Is that a bad question?
No, it's not. Cannibalism. I think cannibalization affects even the true colors too, to an extent. So the number to 499 auto PSA 10 of a prospect first card, like it's not going to be worth that much more than somebody's more contrived parallels that are more rare, or have similar rarity. So I would say try to go like true blue or better.
I agree with you, if possible. I would say go for the superfractors 1 out of 5, and that's it. Don't buy anything else. I actually would argue that the blue, gold, orange, those will still always have a premium no matter what. What do you think, Jeff?
Yeah, makes sense, especially the more dilution there is with the parallels. I think the more those true ones are going to stand out, and those will be the ones that a lot of people go after. So
as of right now, there's a blue refractor, a blue shimmer, a blue ray wave, a blue geometric, and then the blue reptilian. Oh, there's more. But anyways, there's a lot of blue parallels, and that's
all out of 150, Scott.
Probably. I can't confirm, but they had the same odds, so I'm assuming yes.
Yeah,
that's what Mr. Mahan wanted, right? The number to 499 not auto. One of the things that didn't change much. I was looking at retail. Blaster is the only format, unless there's like 2 different blasters listed here. But the odds didn't change. Where the odds got worse with hobby, but this is why retail blasters are still available on the Topps website, and everything else sold out in 5 hours. And again, by the time you're watching this, maybe the blasters will be sold out. Those are at $30. They might have even been a little more expensive in the past. The chance to pull autographs has gone down.
Oh, that sucks.
With retail, unfortunately, which I'll expose once I get to that page. But yeah, so we talked about the reptilian stuff, the steel metal. Scott brought up there's a steel metal. You need to call it steel and metal. Why not just one of the other?
I didn't even catch that, Phil.
So if you're curious, I know this is a question that like Chris might be interested in, or maybe Jeff. To pull a true gold refractor, as we talk about, to stick with the tried and true. To pull a true gold Chrome Prospect refractor, it's going to take 87 hobby boxes. Last year was 73, or 6 cases of jumbos, 592 packs of jumbo packs. Last year was 531 jumbo packs.
Hey, Phil, do I have your permission to make a video on that on my own channel and break it down even more? Is that cool?
You can definitely do that. Yeah.
I'll give you a shout out. Shout out to my boy, Phil.
Go ahead. Yeah. Okay. So some more interesting stuff, like people don't care about 95% of the stuff that we're probably spewing at them, but this might be interesting. So Bowman Spotlights is one of the growing inserts. Like Fanatics / Tops realized that we can't just
They're
copy.
cool.
Yeah, we can't just copy the downtowns and create our own version of it. Like, let's try to create something completely new and unique and then introduce it, have it be really common. And then once we realize that there's some interest in the design, let's make it a bit more, a lot more limited. So this year, there's a Bowman Spotlight, there's the red, there's a Superfractor, and like the regular Spotlight. They're hobby only, which is a change from last year. You could get some of those, not all of them. We could get some of them in retail.
What do you think of these, Ty? As a basketball guy,
I've liked them, but I like them, but for some reason, I don't know. When they first came out, I was like, oh, I think these are pretty cool, but somehow they're missing something for me. Like I have a Riley Green, and it just is like, okay,
it's underwhelming.
yeah, it's a little underwhelming for some reason.
What do you guys think of the anime parallels? It's kind of going to what you're saying.
Arias looks cool.
Which one?
The Arias that was down. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Just happened to look good. Might have been a good photo. Who knows?
This is the other new one that they're doing. I'm sure Phil was about to talk about it, but the Bowman anime. We'll do Schemes card. They're actually introducing a lot of other players, but these are kind of a sought after card.
Yeah. They're pretty popular.
Do you guys like these? Obviously, based on this at the 55 Bowman design, and they have anime cartoons. You guys like that or not like that?
Not a big fan. I don't really like them, but if there are people that do, great.
I don't hate it. I don't hate them. I don't like them as much as most. I don't love 55 Bowman, so
whoa, that's a hot take.
That's a hot take. I know. It's not my favorite design. They're all right.
Phil?
I think they have more potential than what that particular set delivered, personally.
As a big TCG guy and now getting into One Piece. I'm just kidding.
Really?
No, I'm not. Don't judge me. I think they're fine.
You're gonna get into Weiss, Phil? That's more your speed, right?
Yeah. I think these cards are cool. I'm glad they're here, I guess. I'm happy. Good company. Some other new stuff that hasn't been included in previous year's products. So some of the newer inserts. VIPs, very important prospects. And these are going to be in all formats. The base is common for this subset. There's also 7 parallels, and there's autos too, and probably auto parallels. And there's also, so to complement that, you've got Rockstar rookies.
I saw that.
All formats.
Yeah.
What do you think that's gonna look like?
I wanted to show you guys something that we know what the Rockstar rookies will look like. There's a picture of it.
I'll show
you. I'm going to show you the original Rockstars. Some of you may know this, but I was going to bring this up with like the dilution of the checklist with like a million parallels and how I wish they would put more energy into tiers of thoughtful inserts that could potentially become chase worthy. But these are incredibly popular from the 90s. They had the base set and then refractors, and that's it. And they're die cut, at the top, and they even look a little bit embossed in hand, and they're very cool. Very, very cool. And I try to step away from these and go, is it just my bias of knowing there's nostalgia from the 90s? But then if we come over here and we look at this card, this is what they look like now. Why isn't it letting me zoom? Here we go. And this just looks like an AI background that they put Jackson Jobe over the top of with, I guess a fitting font, that like Gothic font. But let me show you why I'm so confident that this is AI. I prompted ChatGPT for a similar design concept, and it looks basically the same, except that it's an orange background. And Panini's been catching a lot of flack recently for very clearly using AI on their cards, including downtowns that now have like the football field literally with the wrong dimensions going the wrong way.
Yep.
And so, you're a multi-billion-dollar card manufacturer. You should be able to afford a designer or two who can actually do something that's not like literally using AI. I think you could use ChatGPT to come up with concepts for cards, but don't actually have it design the cards. So that's what the Rockstars look like, just to come back to that. And that just doesn't do anything for me. I prefer the like more playful,
that's
show them on the field and do something with that. And it doesn't have to be rocks. It could, it could be rocks, but also music and a band and doing something. But you can tell a human being thought of this. And
I kind of dig the double rookie logo though. That's kind of cool. I kind of dig that.
I don't know. I did want to show one other thing quickly, which was going back to the conversation about parallels. And this is just James Wood as an example, but I pulled up his refractor to 99. These are all raw, $4.99, $43. And you're all kind of in the same ballpark here, like mid 40s to high 50s for all these different cards. This is his purple Ray Wave to 250, purple refractor to 250, fuchsia to 199. Oh, that was the purple mega box, I think. This is the regular purple. So you got a purple Ray Wave, a purple Mojo mega box, a regular purple aqua refractor to 225. Like, what happens? They dilute these, and then none of them become special, and the price gets driven down on all of them because you're competing, right? So somebody at a point may say, well, I'd rather have the traditional refractor or the true blue or the true purple, but how much more do I want that? And what's interesting is, these are single sales, but the purple mega box is 57, but the true purple is 56. There can be a lot of reasons for that. It's one
The
sale,
mega box is pretty old. It's a pretty popular parallel, the Mojo design. To be fair,
yeah, but so I think that's the bigger concern in my mind, and it makes it really difficult to compare apples to apples for different players from different years, because of the different rarity levels and just you see a refractor to $4.99 from 2019 compared to now, and there's like 4 times as many parallels. It's like, oh, why is this player so much more than that player? Well, because there's like distribution across all of these different parallels that's just inherently going to drive the value down on it, even though they're all still at $4.99.
Even from 5 years ago, like even in 2019 to 2020 era, it was not even like this. It's crazy how much it's changed.
Yeah.
Phil, anything else you want to talk about before we wrap?
Yeah. So Ty was talking about like it would be good to have a hierarchy of inserts, and for them to put maybe more attention on a few that they think have better chance of succeeding. There's a new one called Crystallized. And this one stands out to me on the checklist. And there's a gold, orange, red, and superfractor variation in addition to the base. This one's hobby only versus the other ones that we just talked about are going to be for all formats. And this one is also different because the base version is very rare, where the other ones, the base one would fall like one in every, 8 to 15 packs. So this one is 1 in 865 hobby packs. So I feel like maybe they've got something going on with Crystallized. Maybe they're similar term as like what was that technology that they rolled out for? Was it definitive?
Oh, what is that?
Liquid something.
Liquid gold.
Yeah.
Liquid something. Liquid crystal, I thought it was. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they're borrowing something from that. And there's also a greatness loading insert too, which I'm sure won't be that special, but there's a ton of parallels with that. So what I was saying earlier about retail is getting the shaft on autographs now, which is unfortunate. If you look at the base Chrome Prospect autograph, 1 in 75 blaster packs last year and 1 in 121 blaster packs this year. And then last year they actually separated rookies from prospects, but it wouldn't really make that much of a difference. It's way down across the board for autograph hunting in retail. And same goes true with the paper prospect autographs. That's down quite a bit as well. So paper prospect base autographs, 1 in 237 blaster packs. Last year was 1 in 134. Now that sucks because those are the ones you often hit. The paper autos that are the retail exclusive checklist in blasters.
This is the liquid gold for those that are wondering what the liquid gold looks like in Transcendent. I mean, to be fair, if Topps has to dilute one of the products, I think going the retail route is unfortunately the right call, especially if it keeps retail prices lower, if that's a concern of ours for people to find them and open them. If it's not being bought out at every store because it's not underprinted or too hot of a product, like what was the last product where the blasters were good? Is it Heritage? The blasters were actually really good. As an example, those were a little bit probably too good for some people. So.
Yeah, the blasters have been good. I heard
Hangers.
It was Diamond Icons, by the way. I think not Transcendent.
That's why I couldn't find it on eBay search. Thanks, Ty.
We were all wrong. 22 update, they made a move to, intentional or not, to make the hangers like really juicy. And then that kind of carried over to years afterward, but then it started to get more. I think it started to swing it back a bit towards hobby and jumbo. But yeah, this is interesting. Like, one of the things that I wanted to ask you, somebody in Blowout Forums was saying, like, they're trying to push casual, I wouldn't say casual collectors, but people that casually open wax and don't do it as like a degenerative hobby. They're trying to push more and more of those people like us. We would fall in that camp. Maybe not Ty. Maybe you break a little too much. Just kidding. They're trying to push us potentially into retail. Do you think that's true? Or do you think retail is for like folks that just stumble into a box who don't know what they're buying? It's like a gateway drug for new collectors and stuff like that.
I think it must be true, because that's the only thing I'm ever going to open again, probably, because it's fun. It gets the same nostalgia it was when I was a kid, and it's cheaper. Like, so I guess it's intentional or not. It's definitely where I'm getting pushed for opening product. I will never open a product. I will never open a product ever. No matter what happens, I will not open this product.
They didn't cut the number of cards from retail packs, by the way, unless the information on the website's wrong, which could be possible. But I think that's interesting too. The cost per card now is like so much cheaper in the way of retail. It's insane.
Yeah, if you're going for complete sets. Jeff, would you ever open this product? You're a Bowman guy. This used to be your thing back in the day.
I wouldn't say never. Especially Bowman Draft was really more my thing. But I did like regular Bowman. It's just I'm getting priced out of it to where I feel like it's not a good value proposition. So I'm going to be single hunting for Jesus with this product.
Nice. Cool. All right. Well, any final thoughts anybody has before we wrap this one up?
For me, just a couple guys on the checklist I want to just give a little bit more attention to. So JJ Weatherholt and Kevin McConaughey, those are going to be in, I don't know if they'll be in the consensus top 5 for who sells for the most with regards to prospect autos right out of the gate, but they'd have to be in the top 10. Because again, I mean, they're ranked in like the top 20s, mid 20s for Baseball America, and they have really good floors. They're middle infielders. One for the Cardinals, one's in the Tigers organization. And Kevin McConaughey is actually only 20 years old, and JJ Weatherholt's 22. And they have some more similarities in that they've got, well, they're left-handed hitters with disciplined approaches. They've got like they make pretty good swing decisions. In the case of Weatherholt, he had an 18% walk rate last year. But these guys don't have a whole lot of power potential, in my opinion, based on what I'm seeing here. In the case of McConaughey, he doesn't have a lot of speed either. Franklin Arias is interesting, but international guy, Venezuelan, 19 years old, and he's only played in complex league and low A, but he recorded 178 ISO and 35 steals. So he's got like that power speed combo possibility. He might continue to develop, or he might not, but that's an interesting guy. Then Slade Caldwell, outfielder, the D-backs. Arias is another middle infielder. Caldwell was the 29th pick in the 2024 draft, and he's got a combination of speed and contact hitting ability. So you wonder, like, outside of Made or Condon, like, who's going to be next to emerge, but you never know. Like Roman Anthony, I wouldn't say he came out of nowhere, but you've got guys like Christian Campbell that literally come out of nowhere of previous years' major Bowman releases. So certain guys pop. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this how much more than 500 these products will do, the jumbos will sell for after May 7th when Bowman officially releases. I couldn't see him breaking 600 in the near term. You saw last year's product dip down. I think there were sales under 400 on eBay actually for a while, but it all depends on the checklist. So,
can I share a fear to wrap up this episode? This draft order scares me really bad, with Charlie Condon at number 3 and then Nick Kurtz right behind him, and then Jack Caglione 3 picks later. Those two guys are looking really good, and we haven't really seen Condon do much yet because he's been hurt last year, and now he's hurt right now. Really hope that Caglione isn't 10 times the player Condon is. So, anywho, that's a fear of mine.
I mean, the good news is it won't matter. The Rockies suck either way. So
you're a Tigers fan. We've been to the playoffs the same amount of times in the last decade.
They're in first in the division, baby. Let's go.
In the AL week, I mean, AL Central.
They consider him like the best right-handed power hitter in the class. But I mean, yeah, Caglione, because he's a left-handed hitter, but he had a 1.565 OPS with a 433 average.
Yeah,
when he won the Golden Spikes Award in Georgia. So that was in college.
Yeah, 37 home runs in 60 games is not bad last time I looked. It's pretty good if you ratio that out for a year. Can I ask you guys a question? This is off topic. When am I publicly allowed to change favorite teams?
You can do it anytime.
I've done this for 30 years now because I'm 30 years old, and I can't do another 60 this way. Like, I can't do it. Do you ever wonder that? Like, and the owners don't care. They don't try. They went to San Diego and didn't score a run in 3 games. Now they're going to the Dodgers for this next series. It's just like they can't develop. They can't draft. They can't make trades. They traded Arenado. They signed Chris Bryant. It's like, what are they trying? Like, what point do you change teams?
Seems like all you got to do is replace that pennant behind you and throw another cap on your head, and you're there.
Am I like a big old?
Already got a hat for every team. Somebody commented that.
I know. It was a good observation for them. Yeah, but like, how does that publicly look? Is that bad, or do you think people would understand?
I don't care what people think.
Yeah,
I root for 2 teams in almost every league because I'm a Detroit sports fan. So but they'll always be my first love. So you could hedge and say you live, near the Reds or something, and say, oh, I'll root for them because I can go to their games.
But the Rockies and the Reds are my 2 favorite teams. No, that's a brutal combo.
You can't be a Dodgers fan. You can't be a Dodgers fan.
We talked about enough. 80% of my Dolphins and Dodgers.
They have enough fans. You basically are a Dodgers fan. You watch all their games and secretly root for all their players and buy all their cards. And so,
yeah, it's a problem. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. Let us know in the comments down below, and we'll see you in the next video.